run that Tatum and Kemba had in the third quarter?
We just didn't do what we supposed to do. Give them easy baskets. They didn't have to work for none of it. Kind of gave them open threes after open three.
Fred.
Hey, Russell. Offensively, you guys were 3 for 21. What were your guys' issues? Did you like the looks that you guys were able to get there?
3 for 21 where?
Oh, sorry, from 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we just missed them tonight. Shit happens.
DA.
Russ, was there anything physical with you tonight? I mean, they showed you going back to the locker room early. I don't know if that was anything, so just had to ask.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of nicks and bruises, but it'll be all right. Yeah.
And with Tatum, I know it's a pick your poison. It's just hard to. I know you don't want to double him because that opens up threes, but how difficult is it to turn his water off if he's single covered all the time?
I mean, it just really depends on who's guarding him. If you let him get some easy ones, he's a scorer, so you let him get some easy ones, and the basket starts to look like the ocean for him, and he's getting to the line. I mean, he shot 18 free throws, whatever. So it really just depends on how the game is going. We didn't do a good job of starting off early initially to making it tough for him.
Christos.
Hey Russ, what would you need to improve to the game against the Pacers from tonight's game, and how important is to approach that as the biggest game of the season for your team?
It's another game, different game. This game really don't matter at this point.
All right, Russ, appreciate you.
Russell Westbrook, not really. How do you trick up the game to try to slow those guys down?
See, Matt, the way that you and I in 3D are thinking, we're saying, okay, how do we stop Brooklyn from a defensive standpoint? But what Brooklyn, they've kind of flipped the script on everybody because you have to keep up with them offensively.
Yeah.
Their best defense is their offense. So if you put your best defenders out on the floor and you take your best offensive players off the floor, there's no way you're going to be able to keep up because they score so much. So you have to find the two-way players who can score and defend, which are so rare these days. So do you just go with total offense and try to keep up? Or do you try to put together a defensive scheme that can stop Brooklyn? But if you put together a defensive scheme and it doesn't stop Brooklyn, then you're going to end up losing by, 15, 20 points because they're potent offensively. So you have to keep up scoring-wise with them if you want to stay in the game.
And that's also something Boston has struggled to do. Even with 50 from Tatum, they shot under 40% in this game.
Yeah, without Jaylen Brown, that's going to be hard to do because now you're asking Fournier and Naismith and all those different guys.
Aaron Nesmith, who barely played the first two-thirds of the season.
You're asking a rookie to come in this playing situation and play lights-out basketball. You're asking Marcus Smart. We know he's a sketchy shooter. Sometimes he makes big shots, sometimes he doesn't. But his heart and the hustle and the soul. Zeke, around here, you got 3 guys. You said too, Matt, you got 3 guys that can go off at any given time. So if you don't have somebody on the floor that can make shots or match shot for shot at times, you could be down 20 in the first quarter.
Yeah. On the flip side, Brooklyn's going to have to deal with Tatum, and we were talking before we came on here during the commercial break about who guards Tatum. And obviously, over the course of a series, a lot of people end up guarding a lot of people. But primary defenders, if you're Brooklyn and you're looking at your starting lineup, you're probably thinking Durant or Bruce Brown.
Yes, but guess what? Tatum has to guard Durant.
Yeah.
So that's going to be his defense.
No picking.
And Tatum, we love you. It's going to be hard to get 50 and slow down Kevin Durant.
3D, when you think of Brooklyn and you think of their mentality defensively, you know what we're talking about in terms of, oh, this guy's going to have to guard Tatum. They're not even thinking that way. They're thinking like, okay, well, all right, so what if Tatum get 50? All right, well, I get 60.
Yeah.
You know, that's their mentality. That's how they're thinking. They're not, you know, and even their coaching staff, they're not coming to the game with a defensive mentality. They're coming to the game saying, can you keep up with us scoring wise? Because if you can keep up with us scoring wise, now you got a chance. But if you can't keep up with us in terms of scoring, then that's our defense. Our defense is we're going to put points on the board.
Yeah, I agree. And to me, Brooklyn is the best example of what I think of as a fairly recent trend in the NBA. We've talked about this before, is that I don't think you have to be a great defensive team to win an NBA title anymore. And I think that used to be the case. I think you have to have enough very specific, great defensive possessions over the course of the playoffs in key spots to win your way into the finals and win the whole thing. But the days where you have to be a top 5 NBA defense to have a shot at winning it all, I think those are gone for the most part.
You got to be able to make shots. You got to be able to make some threes and make those timely stops when the game is tight.
Here and there.
Quarter, 3 minutes left to go in the game. You need this stop to win the ball game. Those type of stops you're talking about.
Right, and the Brooklyn Nets are not a great defensive team, but they can come up with those along the way.
Yeah.
You know that. James Harden can play
They
decent
give the
defense
effort.
when he feels like it.
Think about it. When Kevin Durant was with Golden State is when he changed everybody's mind about rebounding,
Rim
blocking
protection.
shots, and rim protection.
Yeah.
You bring that same effort that you showed us in Golden State, you should beat them.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm just going to throw out the player who had the best offensive year, that 50, 40, 90, or 92 guy. He shot 92 from the line.
Yep.
That means he's not missing, right? So what are you going to do with him? And then he used to be a Celtic.
Ooh.
There's that as well.
Hey, Z. We in AZ. Stir it on up,
There's that
baby.
as well.
Stir it on up.
Washington's got another game to play if they're going to wind up the 8th seed and face Philadelphia in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Concern between now and that game on Thursday night is the health of Bradley Beal, still dealing with that hamstring. And Russell Westbrook, who left the game early, we saw video of him walking off toward the locker room and didn't really hear a definitive report about what happened. And here's Russ after the loss in Boston.
Russ, you guys have been really good at kind of getting out of tough situations this year, especially late in the game. What felt different after that run at Tatum and